Hello, guys, and welcome to the Most Best podcast, where we talk about random topics in a debate style for an hour. Um, this is episode one. I'm your co-host for today, Jack, and now I'm joined by the host for today's topic, Light. Light, why don't you tell
Hello.
us what the topic for today is?
Well, the topic for today is so you guys like Lucasfilms and all that stuff. I was wondering what Harrison Ford character would beat the other, Indiana Jones or Han Solo?
Interesting. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously going to be Han Solo.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Nope. You see, this is where we start. So, like in video games, when there's like option trees and like it branches out into another ending, it started right here when you said Han Solo.
I mean, you
It's obviously Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones would win. He has a whip. He has a gun. He has intelligence. He gets laid. What is what does Han Solo
I
have?
mean, he's got a laser gun. Bigfoot's his best
Okay.
friend. Um, has a spaceship.
Okay.
He's
But
rich.
Indiana Jones can. He's not rich. He's in debt to the big slug.
Jabba
What's
the
his
Hutt.
name? Yeah, he's in debt to Jabba
But
the Hutt.
only because he had that money to be in debt with. You know what I mean? He was in debt because he spent the
No,
money he was supposed to owe to Jabba the Hutt because he had so much money.
but where did he get that
He's
money?
a smuggler. He steals things and then sells it.
Oh, like Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Exactly like Indiana Jones. But the thing also is that Indiana Jones can get away with kidnapping, and nobody would bat an eye. That little Chinese kid.
Oh, that little Chinese kid. Okay.
Yeah. From episode two, from the second
Yep.
movie,
Yep.
the best, the worst movie.
I don't know. I haven't seen Indiana Jones in a long while. One of the reasons why I'm defending Han Solo.
I haven't seen Star Wars in a long while.
As you can see, guys, we are probably the two least qualified people to be talking about this subject.
That's why we're the best.
But anyway,
That's why
let's
we're the best to be talking about
let's
this
start it
podcast.
out. Let's start it out and like talking about the differences they have in like their fighting style, right? Um, Han
Okay.
Solo, like we mentioned before, he has a spaceship. Okay,
Mhm.
he has a Bigfoot as his best friend. Um, his
Okay.
gun literally shoots lasers. But if we're going to say it's just Han Solo versus Indiana Jones, I'm assuming we would then say
Disqualified
yeah,
Chewie.
disqualify Chewie and probably get rid of the Millennium Falcon as well. So it
Mhm.
would full on come down to um, Han
Like,
Solo versus Indiana Jones without anything else but their own weapons and their own fighting styles.
yep.
Okay.
Which is why Indiana Jones would win because in Indiana Jones 1, I think it was 1, when they were inside the bar and it was like burning down and he was fighting all the Nazis, he beat like 5 Nazis by himself in a burning down bar.
Okay.
But when in the face of danger, in the face of a bunch of stormtroopers that Han Solo just walks into an accident, he runs away like a little baby. What do you, what do you think about that,
I
huh?
mean, there was a difference, right?
Okay,
See,
okay. What's the
see,
difference? Stormtroopers can't shoot to save their life.
I'm assuming that um that in Indiana Jones, he was fighting these guys while it was burning down because he had to be able to steal whatever he was stealing and selling. Okay, as
Okay.
far
Yeah.
as that scene in episode 4 goes, their whole mission was to rescue Princess Leia from the Empire, right? Luke recruited
Mm-hmm.
Han to fly him, into the Death Star so they could rescue Princess Leia. At that moment, once they got her, their only priority was to get back to the Millennium Falcon and fly away, not fight, right? So
Oh, that worked. That worked so
it's
well for Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan was the distraction, you know what I mean? Um, but
Mm-hmm.
it's but we aren't talking about Obi-Wan, so leave that to the side.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It's just
but it's
ironic.
it's the type of thing. If you look at it, if they really needed to fight to do it, I do think Han probably would have. Um, but they didn't. Their whole priority at that point was, okay, we got Leia. Let's get out of here before we get overran. Because realistically, it would have been three versus like thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. So they wouldn't have won, no matter how skilled of fighters they were. Um,
Uh,
so
true, true.
it's really, you got kind of look at the situation, right? As Indiana, like I said, I haven't seen the movies in a hot while, so I could be wrong about this, but I'm assuming he was fighting them as a way to save what he was trying to do to begin with, and they
Well, he went to the bar because the girl there had like the key to something. I forgot exactly what, but the Nazis were also after the key. So yeah, you're kind of on the right track. But a counterpoint to what you were saying, in the original cut, before like all the editing and stuff, it was only like four stormtroopers or clone troopers, whichever one it was at the time, probably Storm. Um, but in like the remasters, they edited in more stormtroopers to make Han Solo to justify Han Solo running away.
got you. Okay.
They try to make him seem stronger in the edits, or not really stronger, but just like justify his actions for running.
Hmm.
So he's actually weaker than it looks.
But here's another point though, right? The stormtroopers wear armor. The Nazis, I'm assuming, weren't wearing armor. Um,
Wasn't Han Solo also wearing the
I
stormtrooper
don't
armor?
remember. I haven't seen episode 4 in a good like year and a half. But probably, I do believe him and Luke both were. That being said, though, the stormtroopers were using blaster rifles. Okay, and even though yes, Han was using a blaster rifle, his main um expertise in blasters is blaster pistols. That being said, he's not as experienced with the rifle, so he still is at a lower hand. The stormtrooper is still at an upper hand compared to him. So him running away is still justified in that way.
Okay, so in the image that I'm about to send to you, which is the thing I'm talking about, it does look like he is wearing bulletproof armor on the top half of him, but most of the stormtroopers were already like towards an objective
Okay,
before realizing that Han
so
was
from
there.
looking at this picture you sent me, um,
Mm-hmm.
I do see what you mean. He could have taken those five stormtroopers on, even with the blaster rifle. Um, but here's what I'm gonna say, right? I'm assuming we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
throw all of movie logic, it being a movie and being scripted, out the window for this fictional fight. This being
Yeah.
said, would Indiana Jones be able to fight these same five stormtroopers, assuming he's using a normal Earthbound gun with normal bullets?
Okay, so let's try to make like a chart. Not really like a chart, but like how powerful is stormtroopers compared to Nazis? Because we all know like they're basically the same
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Adolf being Darth Vader,
Oh,
clone troopers being
yep.
Nazis, they're basically the same thing. So what's the power difference?
Well,
How do we
once
measure
again,
that?
right, is I think the biggest problem with this is one takes place, Indiana Jones, Nazis, all that takes place on Earth with normal Earth um, gadgets, weapons, things like that, as opposed to Han Solo and the Stormtroopers is in space in another universe with more sci-fi like weapons and armor and gadgets and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how you would measure that, because if you take Hitler versus Darth Vader, for example, Darth Vader would win that because he has a laser sword. He knows how to, like, he can choke people with his mind essentially. Um, as opposed to Hitler, who just has a gun and a mustache. So it's like really the only upper hand Hitler would have is if he's able to shoot his gun at Vader and damage his machine that helps him breathe. That's really the only upper hand Hitler would have in that scenario, right? So if we look at it the same way, with the stormtroopers,
Does Hitler use
I
guns?
think he did use a gun. Um, I think
Did
so,
he?
yeah.
Did Hitler use guns? How the Nazis use guns? The guns on guns registration. And it Nazis gun control. It says nothing about Hitler
Well,
here.
then that's even more, right? If you take do about power level, assuming Hitler has, well, see, I think he uses a gun because I know during World War One he fought in World War One, for the Austrians, which is originally where he's from, and then he joined the German army after World War One.
So here is a golden little handgun. The 6 high-profile items on World War II is where this picture comes from, and this is what popped up after searching up Adolf Hitler's gun, and it doesn't say his name anywhere near, but it does have his initials on the holster.
First off, this is one blinged out gun. Not gonna lie.
Now, yeah, you would find this in like GTA or something. This is
Um,
awesome.
let's assume that he did use a gun. This gun was actually
Okay, wait. Unrelated. This picture is hilarious. I'm gonna throw it up on screen right now.
bruh. Okay. Let's say this gun Hitler carried on him, every day, while World War II was going on.
Okay.
And let's say for the argument of which, the Nazis versus the Empire argument, which one, would be stronger. Let's say Hitler, like Darth Vader, also fought, right? Because I believe during World War II, Hitler didn't really ever actually fight anybody. He just kind of told people what to do. As opposed to Darth Vader, who we saw him several times in the movies, actually, on planet fighting people or whatever. So let's just say for this that Hitler did 100% fight on ground with the rest of the Nazis, right? You still once again have to look at, he's on Earth fighting against other people with the exact same weapons as he is, right? Fighting against someone with a laser sword who can choke you with his mind, against an army of people with laser guns and armor that your normal gun probably wouldn't affect. Hitler and the Nazis would probably be Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers would probably have the upper hand. You know what I mean? So looking at it that way, if you want to do power level, I would put Vader and the Stormtroopers above Hitler and the Nazis for that reason. So that being said, you very well could justify Han running away from 5 Stormtroopers when he has the exact same, when he has a gun that shoots the exact same stuff their guns shoot out. Because if Indiana was in that situation, he wouldn't be able to do anything.
But the stormtrooper, yes, the guns are more powerful. Indiana Jones' gun is the Wesson M1917
Yeah.
revolver. Like, it's a completely normal gun, but while the stormtrooper has laser guns. Okay, understanding though that stormtroopers never hit their
Well,
target, how valuable, how reliable are those guns in the actual universe of Star Wars?
well,
Indiana Jones can take them if their accuracy does not change
here's
whilst from Star
here's
Wars.
what I will say about that. If you actually watch Star Wars from episode 4 to episode 6, the stormtroopers' aim in episode 5 and 6 is a lot better than this one scene we're talking about right now in episode 5. And in later parts of episode 5, it's better than, the scene we're talking about at the moment. George Lucas had actually
Okay.
George Lucas had
Also,
actually said, when doing this scene, that the way the script was written. Now, once again, I know we're throwing script and everything out of the window. But the way it was written was that they weren't supposed to ever actually hit Han, Luke, and Leia. It was meant to be more of a trying to back them into a corner type of thing, so they could prevent them from doing anything without actually killing them, right? So assuming
that is the most copium thing I have ever heard in my life.
assuming George Lucas said it himself, okay? It wasn't coming from me. Assuming that the orders the stormtroopers had in this,
Yeah, J.K. Rowling says a lot of
if
stuff
this
too.
in this universe was to not to kill them and kind of try to overwhelm them, then them missing purposefully because their orders are not to hit them makes sense, right? So once again, it would be.
So you're saying that Indiana Jones would kill them because they're purposely not trying to kill?
Well, I'm saying it depends on the.
For the people who couldn't hear that, he just jumped at a call in the middle of saying something. Let me. Okay, so Oh God.
We good.
He's
We
back.
good. We good. We good.
He's back.
Another friend called me, and I accidentally picked up. But anyway, it depends on the situation, right? Because I feel like if we're gonna take Han Solo out and put Indiana Jones in, but he's doing the exact same thing Han Solo was in the movie with Luke and Leia and everything, then yes, I feel like they still are purposely not trying to hit him, and Indiana Jones can overpower those 5 stormtroopers. However, I think if we're going to take it as in the Indiana Jones is sneaking in to steal something so he can then sell it, I think at that point, the stormtroopers' orders and objective is stop him at all costs, meaning killing him would be the most effective way, or at least shooting him so they can take him captive would work out. Meaning that they probably would, their aim would be more precise at that point than it would be if the orders were what they were in the movie.
Are the people is Luke, Chewie, Obi-Wan, and Han Solo, are they still sneaking in at this point, or is this sometime in the past or future?
I believe this is when after they've already rescued this picture, at least I believe it's already when they've rescued Leia.
No,
because
in this hypothetical, Indiana Jones is in there stealing. When does that take place?
I'm gonna say if we decide that yes, he is there stealing from them, so he can sell it, make himself
would it be some
money off of it.
Would it be some Gary from Phineas and Ferb stuff where it's simultaneously happening?
That's a good question. I'd say no. I'd say if we're going to decide on he's breaking in to steal something and has to fight him by himself, that Han, Leia, and Luke, and Chewbacca and Obi-Wan are not there at all.
So
right?
Okay, so is this before or after? Because that changes a lot.
That's true. Let's say before. Say before.
Before. So he's sneaking in to get the Death Star plans.
Yes.
So that is a very high priority, which means most likely security will be risen by a lot. But if it takes place after the Death Star plans are already stolen, there's nothing really for him to steal.
He's here's what I'm going to say. Okay, let's say yes, he's breaking and stealing, the Death Star plans. He's by himself. All of Rogue One, those people that broke in to originally steal the Death Star plans, they were never there, and there's an Indiana Jones in instead.
Oh
Right?
God.
I haven't seen Rogue One personally. I do know enough about it though to use this analogy.
Okay.
I do know that only one out of the 5 members that were sent in to get the plans actually survived and escaped.
I'm pretty sure they all died.
Or maybe they did all die. Maybe they did.
I
Like I said, I haven't seen the movie.
I think they transmitted the plans to Leia, and then
I think you're right.
the whole
Yeah.
entire
So then
thing
that
exploded.
that being said, none of them survived. So
No.
one could say when the stormtroopers' orders are to protect something at any cost, they can hit a target. Meaning,
Not really, because it was Darth Vader who killed most of them. Also, Leia sent in a bunch of people who can fight, but isn't
yes, exactly.
but isn't necessarily good at fighting, like Han Solo. His
But here's the thing,
his chances would be higher, but I'm not too sure if he would get them though.
I mean, that's true, but at this time, Han Solo was still working for the Empire when the plans were stolen. He was a pilot for them.
Han Solo was a pilot for the Empire?
Yes, he was. That's how he learned to fight and fly and everything.
Huh.
He was a pilot for the Empire. So one could use the argument that they missed him because he knows their fighting style, so he knew how to dodge their, bullets. One could say that. I'm not going to though. That's far-fetched. But
And even if you could, both Han Solo and Indiana Jones Lego characters can dodge and shoot at the same time.
exactly, and we have to take into the Lego games into effect as well. We have to.
Yeah.
But so that being said, we've talked about could Indiana Jones beat, the stormtroopers, whatever. Would Han Solo be able to fight the Nazis? Because here's what I'm thinking, right?
Huh.
Let's say hypothetically, the Star Wars universe exists at the same time the Indiana Jones universe exists. They're just 2 entirely different universes or galaxies, I guess. You know how all the Star Wars movies say.
Wasn't that?
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, isn't that what was implied though? Like, this happened a long, long, long time ago, and us being able to see this movie is the recordings of what happened passed through like the speed of light and finally reached us. That's why in the beginning it says in a galaxy long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Far, far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming that that happens. Let's say this, right? Let's say they do exist in the same time, and let's for the sake of this take Indiana Jones and Han Solo and say something happened that caused them to switch places.
Okay.
So now Indiana Jones is in the Star Wars universe, and Han Solo's in the main universe on Earth and everything, right?
Okay, so
this would put
that would also
Indiana
change
Jones.
the equipment though.
Oh no! This is what I was gonna say. They have the same stuff they had to begin with. So Indiana Jones still has his whip, his normal gun, and Han Solo has his normal stuff. Or we can say it changes the equipment where Indiana Jones now has a blaster pistol and Han Solo has the whip and the normal gun. Okay. The thing about this is neither one of them ever seeing that equipment before. No matter what kind of training they have, they still wouldn't know how to use it. I will say they're both smart enough that they probably would figure it out.
I would argue that Han Solo would be able to know how to use the whip, because if you watch Star Wars Episode 2, or not episode 2, the second Star Wars movie, the best one, the
Episode
Christmas special.
5.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. The Christmas special, the one where they all went to Chewbacca's family and they all had to sing a
Oh yeah,
song. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They went into like, I think it was like trees, like tree houses and stuff, which was all held up by rope, which is where Chewbacca lived.
Yes, on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, sure. So with the time that Han Solo spent with Chewbacca and Chewbacca having that like family pass down of how to use ropes, you'd probably assume that Han Solo would eventually catch on.
Okay, I would agree. But here, I'm talking more so on like the blaster pistol, like to the actual real life gun, right?
Mm.
I'm assuming because we established that Indiana Jones uses a revolver, so I'm assuming it at most shoots 8 and fits 8 bullets in it. Because I think that's the biggest most revolvers do. Most of them is about 6.
Yeah.
But let's just say it fits 8, right?
Okay.
In the Star Wars universe, they use heat. They have what's called blaster cartridges, and those heat up, and that's what shoots the laser. They essentially have unlimited shots until that cartridge heats up enough to where it's unusable, and then they have to switch it out, right?
Okay.
So let's give them let's say they each are fighting 5 enemies, right?
Okay.
And let's say Han has 6 bullets in Indiana Jones's gun, and Indiana Jones has 5 5 enemies to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Now assuming they're both guns, more than likely it wouldn't take long for either of them to figure out how to use it. Okay?
Yeah. It.
However,
How
in
do you
the off chance
how do you
that
how do you use a Star Wars blaster? Is it like, do you like cock it? Do you like, or does it
no,
just shoot?
no, you just aim and shoot. Yeah, because it's
Huh.
just the heat. So you just like aim and shoot pretty much.
Okay.
And if there is something else, as far as I know, they've never actually like gone in depth with it.
Okay.
But yes, as far as I know, yeah, it's just the heat. It goes in, you just aim and shoot, and you have unlimited shots more or less.
Okay. Okay.
Let's say they have 5 enemies and they each miss 1 time. Okay. This being said, Han would end up killing, or at least hitting, those 5 enemies, but would have no more bullets in the gun, right? Now, because in Star Wars they don't reload the gun the same way they would in, the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know how. I'm not sure. Now
Would
I
he,
don't.
though?
I think he'd figure it out, because the revolver, you just push it out and put the bullets in and push it back in, and you cock it and it's good.
So wait, but would he though? How long have they been here? Like, huh?
I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say, for the sake of this picture that you sent me, the top one, where it's just the 5 stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Han was here. Next moment, he's in the bar while it's on fire fighting the Nazis, and Indiana Jones is now in his place.
Oh
So
God.
they were put immediately into combat.
Oh God, that changes everything. Han Solo would die.
That's what I'm saying. I think in that case he would die, not because Indiana Jones is better, but because Indiana Jones' equipment is worse, right?
No,
because-
I wouldn't
because-
say it's worse. I would say mostly that Indiana Jones' equipment is like taboo for Han. He doesn't know like the logic of cocking a gun or something, and
That's
he
fair.
doesn't
Okay,
have
yeah.
he doesn't have like the time to figure that out. He's just thrown in,
Yeah.
and he has to shoot what he's used to, aim and
Yes.
shoot.
While other people are shooting at him with bullets he cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Star Wars, where you can see the lasers coming at you.
Yeah.
So that being said,
Kind
I do agree. I think he would die. However, let's say for some reason he survives, and he runs out of ammo, and this has to go into a hand-to-hand combat, right? I will say this: Indiana Jones is so much better at hand-to-hand combat than Han Solo is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever actually seen Han Solo use hand-to-hand combat one time
don't-
ever in a single movie.
I don't think
Besides,
so.
besides maybe like a punch or something.
The closest,
However,
the closest he's ever been to an enemy is when Kylo Ren stabbed him.
Yeah, exactly. However, I do think that's just because hand-to-hand combat isn't really a thing in the Star Wars universe, considering the fact that like everybody has a blaster of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
We walk in the street, bump into somebody, they'll pull a blaster out and shoot you if they're depending on where in the galaxy you are. So like,
what about the first time Luke and Obi-Wan meets Han and Chewie, and Chewbacca just rips someone apart? Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
So,
But
yeah.
even Han had a blaster, and if you remember correctly, everybody in that cantina also had a blaster. They pulled them out when stuff started getting bad.
True. I guess what I'm trying
And then
to
the
say is that hand-to-hand
the
does
bartender
exist.
told him, put them back.
Damn, the bartender defended Chewie. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he also got his hand cut off by Obi-Wan. He cut it off with his lightsaber.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh
about that.
no, sorry. He cut off the bartender's buddy's hand, not the bartender. I think. I don't remember. But
I remember the Lego game cutscene more than I do the actual movie.
but yeah. So the thing with this, and this is the thing I'm really more trying to figure out, is we've talked about, okay, Han Solo fighting his own people, like from his universe, Indiana fighting people from his universe, and then vice versa, what would happen. Because I think, honestly, you give Indiana a blaster pistol, it's so much easier to use. He could probably wipe out the stormtroopers, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the fact that he's able to see where the enemy's fire is coming from.
Yeah, no. If Han Solo was, if Indiana Jones was there, it's a no deal. He wins.
Yeah, so he survives like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's more advanced, it's easier to use, but still that much more deadly.
Yeah.
Because pretty much in Star Wars, if you're shot with a pistol, it doesn't matter where you're shot at. I mean, with a blaster, it doesn't matter where you're shot at, you're dead. Because it's legitimately a laser. It goes right through you, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So, with them having this experience of, let's just say Han does win this fight.
Yes.
The stormtroopers, they both now have at least a little bit of experience with each other's different equipment. So let's say they're thrown into a ring. What's a good mix of like the Star Wars universe and the Indiana Jones universe? Personally, I would say Tatooine would be a good fighting ground. What do you think?
I'd agree.
Okay.
Because it's desert.
Mm-hmm.
Both universes have it. Not to mention, I believe, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I believe takes place it doesn't take place in the desert, but I believe he does visit a desert at some point in the movie.
Temple of Doom does. It is mostly a desert also.
That's what. Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So that being said,
I don't remember.
I think I was thinking of Temple of Doom, not Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like I said, I haven't seen them in a while, so titles get mixed up.
Yeah.
So, Indiana would be familiar with a desert with that heat. The only thing is that we could use as an argument, one could say Tatooine's hotter than a normal Earth desert because it has two suns.
Ooh, true.
But I'm going to say, for the sake of this, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, the heat doesn't really play a difference.
The heat doesn't matter. It's just more of it's sand.
Mm-hmm. And what Tatooine? Is this like episode 1 Tatooine where it's just like mostly desert? Or is this like episode 7 Tatooine where it has like destroyed equipment everywhere?
I'm going to say episode 4 Tatooine.
Episode 4 Tatooine. What's that?
Which
like?
Is so it's pretty much, I mean, there is obviously, it's been like this since Tatooine was created. There's settlements everywhere, but it's not like, it doesn't look like episode 7 when an entire war broke out and there's now ships all over everywhere and everything like that. It's desert for a while. You may come across a settlement and then more desert, and then you may come across another settlement type of thing.
I just remembered. Yeah.
because Luke is from Tatooine. That's where he grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say episode 4 Tatooine, mainly just because this picture right here is from episode 4. So assuming that Indiana Jones was just thrown right in, figured out what he was doing, it would be that time period, right?
Okay.
So assuming that he's thrown in, fighting the stormtroopers and everything, Han finds his way back. They fight, right? Fighting on Tatooine for no reason other than we are saying they are.
They're having
fighting.
They're having a who's sexier competition.
Well, see, at that point though, would they really be fighting? Because I feel like Han Solo and Indiana Jones, they're both very conceited when it comes to the way they look. I kind of feel like it would be less of them actually fighting and more of like a we're both beautiful type of thing. Then again, you also could say that because they both are extremely cocky about how they look, they're jealous that somebody else looks exactly like them, and so they're trying to wipe the other one out so they don't have that competition, right? So let's settle on that. They're jealous of the other one.
I think that's how Han was when they were at Lando's. He was like pissed off at Lando for being
even though they were good friends, Lando definitely wasn't a bad looking guy.
Oh no, Lando's the slightest man in the universe.
Exactly. So yeah, let's say that they're fighting because they both believe they're good looking, they're jealous of each other, and winner gets the girls. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Okay.
This fight is going to be super interesting because I'm assuming now, by the time of them fighting, that Han has his normal stuff back and Indiana has his normal stuff back.
Yeah, but just like any good fight, they would swap equipments from time to time.
True. Also, we could say, because they're fighting on Tatooine, and Han has home turf, technically, because it's in his universe.
Yeah.
And that we already said Indiana was kind of just like forced here, and that he did have to use that blaster. We could say that he's fighting with a blaster, just like Han is, to make the fight more even.
Okay, yeah, let's go with that. That works.
That way, it's really more of who's the better fighter, versus equipment type of thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like someone who has better equipment in a fight will always win, even if they aren't as skilled of a fighter. Like, for example, if I have a gun and you come at me, with a sword, I will kill you before you can even reach me, right?
Sounds like a threat here.
But I feel like if they have the exact same, they're both using laser guns. I said the only upper hand that I say Indiana, like one of them really has, is Indiana, because he has his whip.
Yeah.
And he could very easily, whip that gun out of Han's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming Han doesn't have a counter for it, knowing how to use a whip.
Yeah. But okay. So Han Solo. Wait. Everything just left me. Continue.
Yes, Han Solo.
Okay. So Han Solo has his blaster. Indiana Jones has a blaster also. They're both on Tatooine. Would they? Is it just like a standoff, like a fight on fight, or are they like implementing their surrounding elements also?
See, originally I was going to say it's like a standoff. The back to back, walk 5 paces. First one to shoot shoots, but that's boring.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't really be like, oh, this person would win type of thing.
It would be Han
So I'm
Solo
gonna say
because
yes.
like the whole entire meme of who shot first, they would just like instantly Han
Exactly,
Solo.
exactly. Obviously, Han Solo, can shoot faster than anybody in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say for this, they are able to use the environment around them. They're able to take cover. If there's random pedestrians walking by, they can take them and put them in front of the fire. Whatever it takes for them to win, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Now this being said, I was saying earlier, Indiana has an upper hand with the whip. I'd say this kind of evens it out a little bit with Tatooine being in Han's universe. He kind of knows it a little bit better, even if it is just a giant desert.
Yeah.
He essentially would be more familiar with the surroundings around him. So it kind of evens out a bit with really who has the upper hand. It's still a pretty even fight because they each have an upper hand on some aspect the other one doesn't have.
Okay. Have you seen the Obi-Wan show?
I have seen the Obi-Wan show.
Remember the Jedi who was in hiding in the first or second episode? I forgot which one it was. And
in the town?
Yeah, in Tatooine.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Did he I forget the details, but didn't he bury his lightsaber? Or didn't Han steal or Obi-Wan steal it from him and bury it? Was
Obi-Wan buried it once he died.
Okay.
Obi-Wan had also buried his own lightsaber as well.
But this is taking place at the same exact time, so Han Solo would already be dead in.
This is actually taking place. This is actually taking place after that.
So Han Solo is dead either way.
No.
Or not Han Solo. Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yes, because that takes place. He's still older, but not old. Obi-Wan, I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Episode 4, he's already an old man, right? We established that Han and Indiana already went through the whole rescuing Princess Leia thing, and they are now on Tatooine fighting.
Yes.
Not to mention that there would be no lightsaber anyway, considering the fact that Obi-Wan had it when he died.
So you're saying that there is one buried lightsaber somewhere.
Somewhere.
Do you think that they would find it?
I'm gonna say for this, no. For three main reasons. One, the entire planet is a desert. They could be fighting anywhere, and that lightsaber could be anywhere else.
Okay.
Two, let's say they're standing right on top of it. Neither one of these people know there's a lightsaber buried in the sand.
Ooh, the classic
so I feel like
under the table.
I feel like they wouldn't find it. I also kind of feel like Obi-Wan would have buried it deep enough that nobody would find it unless they were legitimately looking for it.
Okay.
But 3, and here's the main reason here. If you follow Star Wars lore, you know the only people able to actually use a lightsaber are the ones that have Force abilities.
Huh?
Even though anybody can turn one on and fight with it. This is the big problem I had with Episode 7. In order to actually fight with it and turn your hand around and everything, you'd have to be able to have something keeping the button pushed down to keep the blade ignited. Because once the pressure goes off the button, it is no longer ignited, right?
I thought it was a push on, push off.
No, they have to. It has to stay pushed in the entire time. Kind of like a lighter. When you push it down, you have to keep the button. The moment you let go, the flame goes away. They would use the Force to keep that pressure on the button while they were fighting, so they wouldn't have to, make sure they were squeezing the hilt really tight, because that would damage it. Now, there's always been a theory that Han was Force sensitive, which is why he was such a good pilot in general. This was never confirmed, so as far as I'm concerned, he's not. This being said, he could turn the lightsaber on, but for no other reason than to block, or close combat if he's fighting another lightsaber, without actually having to do all that fancy lightsaber work he had to do anyway.
Okay,
he would have had to do, if he was fighting normally.
So okay, wait. Is the sequel trilogy do you count that as canon? Not even does this take place somewhere around it? Is it canon at all?
So in the eyes of Disney, yes. Me personally, no. Mainly because I just don't like the sequel trilogy.
Okay, same
Um,
here.
so I personally I take that as that is a Star Wars universe that was a long time ago in a galaxy far farther away than the main Star Wars universe.
Okay,
Um,
so
that's just how I look at it, mainly because I don't like it.
okay,
However, I will say that Kenobi, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Andor, Rogue One, all of that, I say does take place in the main canon of Star
so
Wars.
only like the stuff that happened after episode 5 is not
Everything that happened after episode 6, with the exception of The
6. I
Mandalorian,
forgot
I
that
do not
happened.
count. I do not count as canon with the exception of The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett.
Okay,
Um,
so then let's say that okay, does does Han and Leia still have a baby, and is that baby still force sensitive? And if so, how? Because Leia was only force sensitive through an edit of the sequel trilogy.
okay, I'm gonna say this. First off, I'm gonna say they do have a baby, but it has nothing to do with this, considering the fact that at this point in time they haven't yet. Two, whether she's force sensitive or not, because Luke is and Luke is her brother, it would still be within her genetics. And
Okay.
anybody can be force sensitive. It just so everybody in the Star Wars universe has this resource in their blood called Manin or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called. Um, but the ones with higher amounts of it are the ones that can use the Force. The higher amount of it that you have, the stronger in the Force that you are. If that makes any sense. But
Yeah.
everybody has it because in the Star Wars universe, everybody believes that the Force moves throughout all things, but it's only the ones with the high amount of Manin or metachlorian. That's what it's called. The higher amounts of metachlorian in their blood that can use the Force and bend it towards their will. So which is what Luke has. So let's say I do believe personally, Leia's force sensitive either way. I just think she hadn't been trained in that to really know how to use it.
Okay.
But let's say for this, both her and Han aren't. Let's say because her father was and her brother are, that there's that chance that a child can be. So let's say yes, for this sake of it, they get married, they have a child. That child is Ben Skywalker, who is force sensitive and does later on become Kylo Ren. Let's just say that. Even though
Okay.
we are saying that 7 through 9 isn't canon and this whole fight, let's just say yes, that would happen.
Okay.
Um,
So Han Solo is a the whole entire point of me asking this question. Han Solo is not force sensitive.
Technically not. It's never been confirmed. People think he may be because of how good of a pilot he is. He can kind of sense what are the best ways to get through asteroid fields and stuff. But as far as is he force sensitive, the answer is technically so no, because we've never been told he is.
Okay.
Um,
So he can't like read minds or like think up a strategy to counter what Indy's thinking.
and in the sense of using the force, no, I'd say he could probably still think of a strategy to counteract Indy for the one reason of he knows that technology better than Indiana does. Um,
But
However,
Indiana
when it
Jones
comes to
also
like
has like a whole entire like thing that Han Solo doesn't even know about, or not know about, but like know much about, which is the whip and like how it can be utilized.
and that was the point I was just about to make.
Oh,
I'm thinking, let's say he uses the whip, knocks, Han's blaster out of his hand.
yeah.
Let's say that, and it's about 5 feet to the side of him, right?
Okay.
What you now, yes, I know he would have had to hit his blaster super hard to make it go, that distance. But let's say that,
Also,
um,
though, it does fight at the speed of light. So, what would hit first? Like, would Han Solo pull the trigger before it gets hit?
I'd say this, right? I'd say for the aspects of this, what I'm gonna say is they're facing each other with pointing blasters at each other, right?
Yeah.
And then Indy picks up his whip and flicks it as fast as he can towards Han's blaster. Now, even though Han is a huge, he's obviously the fastest, has the fastest trigger finger in the galaxy. I don't think he would have taken into. I don't think he would have taken into effect the fact that Indiana does have that whip, and I think he wouldn't be able to react fast enough once the whip has been slung to actually shoot it. I feel like if it was just blaster on blaster, he'd be watching Andy's finger, and the moment he sees his finger even twitch, he already has the trigger pulled. Because that's just what he would be looking for. I don't feel like he would be looking at the other hand.
Okay.
So for this, I'd say Andy knocks the blaster out of his hand, and Han is weaponless essentially.
Huh. So Indiana Jones has high ground, and so what is Han Solo like charging at him? Is he trying to run towards the gun? Like he's kind of pushed into a corner here on this.
I'd say personally, he knows Tatooine better than
True.
Than Indiana. Even though, like I said, it's just desert. Like it's really not much to know more about the other one. But he also knows how to use a blaster. He knows, the equipment better, and knows, everything like that. I feel like Han's first instinct, if the blaster was hit out of his hand, would be dart straight towards the blaster, dive on the ground, roll over it, pick it up, and shoot Indiana. I feel like that's what he would do. And I feel like in this scenario, he could, considering the fact if Indy shot at him, he'd see the laser and be able to kind of judge where to go. I also feel like
I forgot Indiana Jones has a laser.
I'd also feel like he'd be able to take those quick eyes of his into effect and see Indy's finger on the gun and be like, oh, okay, he's about to move his finger. I have this amount of time to get to my gun, pick it up and shoot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'd say for the sake of this, for the sake of this argument, that Indiana hits the blaster out of Han's hand. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to say Han then immediately sprints towards it. Okay.
He rolls on the ground and
he jumps, dives.
Yeah. But Indiana Jones sees this happening and he hides behind like anything. He hides behind cover.
I'm gonna say, well, I was thinking something similar, or only instead of him hiding behind the cover, because he's picking up the gun and kind of rolling as he's shooting. Because he's the adrenaline's kicked in. He's he's just trying to survive any means. I feel like he's gonna shoot at Indy and barely miss. Like the laser's gonna go straight by his face. If anything, like burning a little bit off as it goes by him, but not enough to actually like significantly
harm him,
damage Indiana.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like a graze almost with with the laser.
Yeah.
To win, then you just have them again both pointing blasters at each other. Only this time Han is expecting the whip to be flicked at him, and so I feel like Indiana would pick that up and not really try it again. So it will strictly come down to shooting.
I feel like Indy would be more like he knows that this is like a stale point, like it's gonna be like Russian roulette basically. So he's gonna try to like run across buildings or something and like steal ropes or not ropes, like he tries to like steal stuff, break stuff, like how you do it like Dead by Daylight to like push the monster away.
I will ask you this question. Do you know the age of Indiana Jones?
Nope,
like
but
the
I can
character.
search it up.
what are we going to say? Which like version of Indiana Jones is this? Is this like one of his later movies after he's already been Indiana Jones for a while?
Let's just say it's after Temple of Doom.
Well, which movie did he fight the Nazis in the bar?
Shit. Wait. I think that was probably the first one.
Because if it was the first one, that's how old he is, considering the fact that we established that they switched places and that's where they were. So we're gonna say the first movie takes place during episode 4 of Star Wars. Okay, I looked it up. Indiana Jones is 37 in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is the first Indiana Jones movie.
Okay, yeah, the bar fight
How
is Indiana
old
Jones.
was Han Solo in A New Hope? Okay, so Han in episode 4 is 29 years old.
Wait, what was
Okay.
Indy's age again?
Meaning Indy's was 37 in movie 1. And we're gonna say for this argument that episode 4 takes place at the same time as movie 1 in Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Wait.
What does this change?
So in A New Hope, Han Solo was 29 years old. Yeah, because he's 10 years older than Luke, who was 19. The reason I was saying this is Indiana is about roughly 10 years older than Han. I was going to say this may sound extremely stupid, but I was going to say that Indiana realizes, okay, I'm at a stalemate. Han obviously knows this planet better than I do. What I'm going to do is run and see if I can find some kind of town to take cover in or whatever, right?
Okay.
However, I was going to use the excuse of Han being younger doesn't have back problems, that he's faster than Indiana Jones. And so therefore Indiana isn't really going to be that far ahead of Han as he's initially thinking. He may be ahead because he gets that head start, so he's always going to be a few steps ahead of Han. And I'm not saying that like Indiana Jones has back problems. I mean, obviously he's a treasure hunter. He's a pretty fast and nimble guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say for the sake of this argument, Han Solo's faster because he's younger.
You see, though, that doesn't. Huh.
If you catch what I'm putting out.
I understand what you're saying. It just doesn't really sound fair.
I mean, no, I get that. It doesn't sound fair, but I feel like we still got a lot more about this fight to like actually discuss.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so
I say
Han Solo is being a bit faster than Indy. Wait, no, wait.
but I still say Indy beats Han to wherever their final destination is, for the one reason of he has that head start on him. He has the few step advantage. You know what? Actually, I'm about to look up how fast Indiana Jones is.
I just searched up how fast Han Solo is. Wait, what do we? Wait, I'm so confused now.
On foot, running. Holy cow! Oh, that's the Indiana Jones ride in Universal. I was about to say this man can run 14 miles an hour. I was about to say this guy can run 14 miles an hour. That's maybe he is beating Han. No.
Oh God.
Fact.
Huh. This is interesting. So one lamp there. Wait.
Okay, so I'm just gonna forget I ever looked that up because according to Google, if you look up how fast Indiana Jones is, and it doesn't matter how you word it, it's always gonna come up with the Indiana Jones ride. Um, so I say for the sake of this, you know what? I'm gonna look up how fast can the average
Okay.
37
Wait. But
year old man
before you search that up,
can run.
before you search that up, I'm gonna be showing this to the people also. Jump onto this stream and see my evidence, okay?
Okay, I
So
got you.
so over here, it is Han Solo running after the stormtroopers. Let me just play the clip.
Oh dang, man's fast.
So I measured it between every single like plop sound of his foot.
Yep.
The lamp that he's behind right now and the lamp that is right here is only 6 like foot taps across.
Steps.
Yeah, 6
Okay.
steps across. So within 6 steps, he moved that much.
Okay.
So he's pretty fast, but but how fast is India? I'm just gonna put this clip inside the chat so I don't forget to put it in the video. What's a good way to measure Indy? I guess just type in Indiana Jones running.
Okay. I found it.
Okay.
So, wait, did I find it? So, according to Google, the average 29 or 37-year-old man, being, Indiana Jones' age at this point, should, if he's super healthy, should run. I'm gonna assume that both these guys are as healthy as they can. This is the fastest they should be able to run a mile. Okay.
Okay.
For Indiana Jones, it would be for 35 to 39-year-old males, it would be about 10 minutes and 53 seconds to run 1 mile. Okay. For adult males between the ages of 25 to 29, Han being 29, the average mile will be 10 minutes and 3 seconds, meaning that Han could run a mile 50 seconds faster than Indiana Jones could.
Okay.
Exactly. I don't know how we're gonna really put that into this fight. But
he's like 0.5.
Han's 50 seconds faster than Indiana Jones.
So he's like 0.5% faster, maybe.
I guess we could say it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess if we're going to use the whole they're running through Tatooine, for Indiana to find somewhere, I'll say, and judging on how fast he can run in 6 steps, I'll say that Indiana gets to the town that, or village, wherever he finds, to kind of hide, recuperate and everything, gets there. I'm gonna say a second, like literally a second before Han. Like they're like neck and neck type of thing.
So also though, they both have guns, but
Yes.
Indiana Jones has a whip. He could whip up Indy's Han Solo's legs, and that's like a 3-second difference.
Okay, that's fair. I will say this real fast. I actually kind of have to go, so we may need to wrap this up as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay. So for the sake of this, they're fighting in this town, after they ran in or whatever. and it's going to just come down to who can kill the other one faster with their gun. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna say for the sake of this, they ran all through the town. Han cornered him into Indiana into some kind of alleyway. And so now it's full on just duel. Winner wins.
So like a gun duel?
Yes. And as we established earlier, Han has the fastest trigger finger in the galaxy. Okay? So in a gunfight, they win. Okay?
So also...
He wins.
So also though, if they're in like the corner, if Han push Indy into a corner because he knows the layout more, Indy can like, this is hard. I think Han Solo would win in this exact scenario, but I feel like that if in another context Han Solo could win. It just really depends on like the environment.
I think a lot of it is if they were fighting on Earth with normal guns and everything, I think Indiana Jones wins without a doubt. But because we said they're fighting on Tatooine using blasters and the scenario we've kind of put in place, I say Han Solo wins.
But though he would be running a bit like Han Solo would be running a bit worse after being like tripped up by the whip, and like his knees would be like hurting and stuff. So
that's
a
true.
little bit of copium here. He would not be pushed into a corner as soon, or like Indiana Jones would have more time to react to being pushed into a corner. So he probably like punch one of the sand buildings, crumble it on top of Han, and have something like somewhere to run. Like he hides into the bar and disguises with the rest of them.
He punches a sand building. That's actually good. Yeah, no, so I like that. So here's what we're gonna say happens, right? Indiana Jones, being a smart lad, beats him there, gets in the building, gets a disguise on. Han gets there. Indiana Jones. Yes, sir. I'll be right back.
Okay. Gotta cut that part out.
Yeah.
It's while Jack is over here, I feel like Indiana Jones still has like a chance. Han Solo does know the layout of this place way more, and can easily, not really easily, but like he has the fastest trigger finger in the universe, sure. But he doesn't have the wits. Can Han Solo really figure out the Indiana Jones like disguise within this bar? Because so guys, remember when Han Solo was at Lando's place in episode 5? Lando trapped them with Darth Vader, and he couldn't really tell. So
True.
oh, you're back. Hello. So I'm just kind of talking to the people, being like, how Han Solo isn't really that smart because he got tricked by Lando. So could he really figure out?
No, and I agree. I say, because that was the point I was about to make. I say for this thing, because I did forget we tied it. We said he used the whip to, like, get that few second head start or whatever. I would say he gets to town before Han, a good bit before Han. Finds a way to get a disguise. Now Han's here, looking around for him, whatever. Stumbles into the same bar Indiana's in, because I feel like that's just kind of where Indiana would go.
Mm-hmm.
And what this ends up happening is, Han looking for Indiana, wearing Indiana's clothes. He doesn't think about checking everybody. Indiana pulls out his blaster, shoots Han, and win. I feel like it's kind of what would happen.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm about to go down and make it. So
we end at that because you gotta go like right now. So Han Solo wins.
Yeah.
Or Indiana Jones wins.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. Is Indiana Jones wins. But yes, he's smarter than Han is. Han's IQ isn't the best, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think you take the victory on this topic.
Yay.
Indiana Jones would win. Um, and yes. Okay, I gotta go.
Okay, bye bye.
If you want to do an outro and everything, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Just end your recording and then send me it later.
I will.
Okay, bye. Okay, so